more on those efforts, let's bring in someone we know well on this program, Yuriy Sak. He's an advisor to Ukraine's Minister of Defense. Nice to see you again, Yuriy Sak.
Good to see you. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yes, and we can hear the sirens where you are as well, so let us know if you have to go, of course. I'm going to start with the visit by our Prime Minister over the course of this weekend, and then we'll talk about the counteroffensive. How significant is it to have these ongoing demonstrations of support by world leaders and to see him there in Kyiv offering more money?
It is very important for us to have Prime Minister Trudeau here in Kyiv, because Canada has been a great supporter of Ukraine for, pretty much since day one of this large-scale invasion of our country. Canada has provided Ukraine by now with like $8 billion of total $8 billion total aid, $1 billion just in military assistance, air defense systems, tanks, and we appreciate it very much. And the new package that was announced most probably will contain more air defense missiles, Sparrow missiles, and we can use them, as you can hear, because this is the reality we're living in, right? Life seems to be normal. If you ask your correspondents who are here on the ground, they will tell you that if you're in Kyiv on any day, it almost seems like a normal life. It could be anywhere, like it could be Barcelona, London, Toronto, but at the same time, just like this, everything changes and people have to rush to bomb shelters. And we have no idea what is coming right now at us, right? Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, Iranian drones. So we appreciate every inch of the Canadian support, as well as the support of other allies.
Before I continue with the interview, Yuriy Sak, are you okay to continue with the interview, or do you need to go elsewhere?
Now, yes.
Okay, all right. You let me know if that. Okay, you let me know if that changes. Let me ask you some questions about the counteroffensive, because President Zelensky said counteroffensive and defensive actions are taking place. He obviously wouldn't get into details, and I understand you probably won't either, but what can you tell us about the focus of Ukrainian troops in terms of the counteroffensive?
The focus of Ukrainian troops is very simple: to liberate and deoccupy all our lands. Of course, you have seen that during the past couple of weeks, and in particular during the last week, the situation on the front lines was changing gradually, in some parts of the front lines. And this is a very long front line, as you know. It stretches over 900 kilometers. So in some parts of the front line, like, for example, in and around Bakhmut, the city of Bakhmut, which is by now legendary, right? Ukrainian army has moved from defensive operations to counteroffensive or offensive operations, and we are advancing, we're moving forward. In other parts of the front, in Zaporizhia, there are certain actions taking place and military operations. So it's a reconnaissance and probing stage. We're doing still some shaping operations, and we are determined to continue. But I would like to stress that what we've said so many times before, priority number one for us is saving the lives of our troops. So we will never venture into some meat grinder war, unlike the Russians, right? We are really, really conscious about saving the lives and making sure that we minimize our losses. And at the same time, we are already inflicting huge losses on the Russians, because during the last 3 days, the average number of Russian terrorists that we have destroyed on the battlefield was 1,000. So this is an uptick in terms of their losses, and we have destroyed a lot of their military equipment as well: tanks, artillery systems, ammunition depots, and so on and so forth.
The other thing, of course, that happened earlier last week that our Prime Minister talked about there too is the Kakhovka dam collapse. I'm wondering how that has affected the counteroffensive, or how it affects operations for the military. Obviously, the priority was to make sure that people were safe and fine, but has that had any impact on military plans for that part of Ukraine?
Now, this terrorist act, and this is a terrorist and a war crime under the Geneva Conventions, this has had a devastating impact on our people. Tens of thousands have been displaced. We have been able to evacuate more than 3,000 Ukrainians from the territory that we control. The situation on the left bank of the Dnieper River, which is controlled by the terrorists, by the Russia state, still is very, very of deep concern, because the Russians do not evacuate the civilian populations. So in essence, it's a tragedy, it's a disaster. The impact, the environmental impact so far that we can assess has been around 55 billion US dollars. But as far as the military plans of the Ukrainian command are concerned, that has not actually had any considerable impact, because we knew about the possibility and the risk of this terrorist attack happening. We knew that the Russians planted they've planted explosives on Kakhovka Dam long time ago. So we had contingency plans in place, and as a result, and I would like to remind that Russians were hoping, of course, to slow us down, but Kakhovka Dam and Kherson region is only one part of the front line. It's a very long front line, and we carry on with our plans as planned.
I should say, of course, that Russia says that it did not do this. I take that your point is, and you probably have better intelligence than I do, but Russia is not claiming responsibility.
Russia said, forgive me for interrupting, but Russia said that they haven't downed MH17 Boeing, Malaysian Boeing. Russia said that they haven't committed mass atrocities and mass murders and genocide in Bucha. They said that we put actors on the street, make them pretend to look like they're dead people. So Russia is a deranged terrorist state. And, as far as we are concerned, of course, look, we are liberating our lands. We're not flooding them.
Yes, and I should say our Prime Minister also said that he didn't believe Russia. So you're not alone in that. Let me just end on this. The counteroffensive lasts how long, Yuriy Sak? It lasts until territory is reclaimed. How does this go?
It ends when Ukraine reclaims our control over internationally recognized territories of our country, which includes Crimea. And I would like also to use this opportunity to say a personal and special thanks to the Minister of Defense of Canada, Anita Anand, because she has been a true friend of Ukraine. She's in touch with our Minister of Defense on an almost daily basis. She's very well aware of our military needs. So thank you, and thank you, the Canadian people, for supporting us. But the end result is our complete and unconditional victory.
Yuriy Sak, thank you, and a reminder this morning of what you're living with, so take good care of yourself as well, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. With David Johnston stepping down on Friday, the Liberals plan a new way forward to respond to foreign interference. Thank you.